So the whole point being there, though, is just that we once again have a strong footprint of Monarch, Project Monarch existing, in the sort of psychological warfare at play here with the child victims in the Dutroux case, and it's really pretty, especially understanding what happened with Paul Bonacci, and then kind of putting that in parallel with Regina Louf and these individual victims throughout the X dossier. It's disturbing as hell, especially when you are aware of John DeCamp, right, and what he explained in the Franklin cover up, and basically he the way he refers to Monarch legitimately convinced me before I was ever really exposed to a lot of the details of these cases, especially in terms of Michael Aquino, right, in his role in kind of the Presidio and yeah, West Point, right, but and far more than that. But obviously, I'm beginning to realize clearly, and I think the Dutroux network itself helped open the window into this world for me, and it's fascinating, honestly, man. But I'm beginning to realize that this is a large, I mean, very large but well entrenched network that is covert and exists behind the shadows, in the darkness, and it's been very well entrenched for decades now, and I think that it thrives off of these black budget
Well, me and
operations.
you were just talking the other day, and I'm not going to take you guys through it. I just covered on the morning dump, and I think I kind of weaved in a little bit, but it kind of weaves perfectly in here, and I kind of through a few different things weaved essentially. God, what is it? Epstein to Elon to God, what to Operation Paperclip to like, and so it is like you see these, and then even then to Dutroux. So this thing, like, it's like you can kind of follow these once you get to a certain, you can just kind of weave these things in and out, and it is because it is the same players, and I think Dutroux does kind of offer a window into kind of why that is, maybe on a more ground level, because as I'm kind of getting at some of the crime that we forgot to cover last week is this kind of goes into, I think, with these people, you want to look for people who are jacks of all trades, and so when you're looking at Dutroux, your ground level thug enforcer, or whatever you want to call this guy, the guy who gets things done, you need to be a jack of all trades. And that's going to mean something different at differing levels. That's going to mean something different if we're talking about an Epstein or if we're talking about Dutroux. If we're talking about an Epstein, that's going to mean like, well, we're going to see this guy as a point man in Iran-Contra. We're going to see him as a point man somehow showing up behind the scenes with loose, ambiguous connections to like Paperclip and like just all just weird. The point being is you'll see them poking up, and this is the multifaceted nature. The fact that you kind of have to keep the circle small, and you kind of have to keep them. You kind of have to have jacks of all trades type deal. Guys who are willing to try new things. Essentially, they can't be too limited in their job description. Essentially,
Exactly.
And I think that's what we're seeing here.
Right. And then leading up to like the initial abductions in '85, right? At least what we're intended to believe. I think he had basically kind of made his he really kind of became initiated